Hello and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jamison Rabbit, and the man seated next to me, he'll never admit to drinking absinthe, but his name is Mike Roth.
Yeah, you're right.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I've actually tried making my own absinthe before.
Yeah?
It was horrible. I didn't have the filter right, so there was little bits of wormwood floating around in there. I ended up throwing it into a
Robitussin.
campfire. Oh, yeah. It lit up like...
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this week we've got a few movies to discuss on the marquee. The first one of which I'm going to talk about, it is called The Wall from director Doug Liman. It is a very small cast. We have Aaron Taylor Johnson. You know him from Kick-Ass or Nocturnal Animals, right?
Yeah.
And John Cena, noted thespian wrestler John Cena. They're the only two guys that you will see on screen for the most part in this movie. John Cena is a sniper. Aaron Taylor Johnson is his spotter, goes by the name Eyes. And they are out in the desert in Iraq trying to find out who's been killing these contractors that are trying to work on the oil pipeline. They've been out there for several hours trying to track this sniper that may or may not even be there. And they start to lose patience, and very early on in the movie, you see it here in the trailer, John Cena gets shot by the sniper.
Oh, wow.
And he's down. And then that's pretty much all he is in the movie. He kind of just lays there in the open with no cover for the majority of the movie, face down. Eyes gets shot in the leg and is hiding behind this rubble wall, the former wall of a school, the titular wall. And he's hurt, he's hiding, and he hears this voice on his radio in his ear. He doesn't know if he can trust it. And he soon finds out that this voice talking to him is the voice of the sniper, known as the Ghost, a man who's been responsible for 75 American kills. And he is on their comms taunting him through this movie. And so the entirety of the movie from this point forward is Aaron Taylor Johnson and this unknown voice having a conversation, and him trying to figure out how to survive, how to get out of this, matching wits, while this voice kind of engages in a philosophical discussion about why they're there and who they are. He seems to know a lot about Eyes, and really just kind of playing with him. And Aaron Taylor Johnson is trying to figure out how to get out of this, where he's at, all these things. And it's basically a one-man performance.
It sounds very much like a horror movie.
It's a suspense movie. Like, it's built in. There's downtime, but there's constant pressure of where's the shot going to come from? Mm-hmm. Can he see me? I have no idea where he is. The fact that he's in your ear, he knows about you. He's just taunting you. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of a lot like, Phone Booth or Buried, where it's basically a one-man performance against a voice. Mm-hmm. Aaron Taylor Johnson was really good. The voice on the radio was pretty believable too, kind of menacing. Yeah. Never having a face to go with it. And the way the movie ended, I really liked quite a bit too. I'm not going to get into spoilers, but I did enjoy how this movie wrapped up. So all in all, I kind of dug this movie quite a bit. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, go check it out.
I might do that.
All right, good. What do you have for us, sir?
We have one of the bigger movies on the marquee, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, directed by Guy Ritchie. If you don't know Guy Ritchie, he's also did Snatched and Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels and Sherlock Holmes.
Did he do Robin Hood as well?
I have no idea.
I think he did. Anyways, sorry, go ahead.
But anyhow, what we do is he's trying to retell the story of King Arthur and the start of what would be Camelot. King Arthur as a baby, let's start off. King Arthur is really not King Arthur yet. His dad is the king, and he's overthrown by an evil sorcerer. Kind of like Moses, the baby Arthur is sent down the river and picked up by some working women down in the town down the way.
Yeah.
He grows up not knowing who he is, and the king, just like in the biblical story of Moses, finds out that there's someone that could lift the sword out of the stone.
The born king.
And the legend says he's going to come back, so he goes out and he tries to kill everyone of a certain age that could be possibly Arthur. And Arthur denies it, and over and over again throughout the movie, he is kind of given the choice. Hey, are you going to step up? And pretty much the entire movie is him not wanting to step up. Now, let's go right into what's bad about this movie, because really there is a lot of bad things about this movie. I personally like Guy Ritchie. Really, he doesn't do anything different in this film that he hasn't done in other films.
This feels so much like a Guy Ritchie movie, which is equal parts good and bad.
And that's pretty much where the line is if you like this movie. If you really like Guy Ritchie movies and you want to see more of that, you'll probably enjoy this. If you hate Guy Ritchie, you're going to loathe this movie with a passion.
Yeah, it's his mark all over.
Yeah, he takes the story of King Arthur, which is a very good story, and I love how people in the past have added on to the story while still keeping the integrity of the real story. Guy Ritchie takes that story, blows his nose in it, and throws it into the garbage and makes it into a Moses story. Second part that I really don't like about this is Arthur doesn't have just one chance to step up and become king. He goes through all these scenarios, and at every scenario you're like, all right, this is his time. It's not going to be for his people. It's not going to be after they kill the person he knows as a mother. It's not going to be after they almost behead him. It's not going to be after he's trained. And after a while, you're actually like, well, I really don't care when he becomes the guy who steps up to this task, because
he doesn't want to be this guy.
He just doesn't want to be the king. And there is nothing that will convince me now that he'll ever want to be king, because he failed to step up. And that's the entirety of the movie, except for the slick, super cool way of how Guy Ritchie makes this kind of film.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much that's weird about this movie, too. I mean, Charlie Hunnam, first off, you know he's the good guy in this movie because he's the only one in this universe that wears white.
Yeah.
Everyone else is dirty and dingy, and dark colors. I mean, literally the bad guys are the blacklegs, and he is in pure white through this movie. I don't know where he got that or how he kept it clean all the time. There's these weird montages of watching Arthur grow up. You know, Eric Bana as his dad, is struck down, and Excalibur is there, and Jude Law is his uncle who is craving more and more power, but he doesn't have Excalibur and the power, the magical power that is possessed by, and he's afraid. And there's just so much weird insanity, like these gigantic elephants that are like 90 stories tall. There's a lot of huge animals in this movie. You also have like evil is this giant octopus of women. Yeah,
I wasn't sure if those are women that he's killed.
I'm not quite sure.
No.
There's a lot of weird imagery going on. I think there's a lot of really bad special effects in here too. Especially, it seemed like every time Arthur put two hands on that sword, the effects got. I could have done without those.
Yeah.
Jude Law, though. I think Jude Law was the star of this film.
I like
as
Jude Law.
The evil king, the scared, hateful, power-hungry king. I liked him a lot.
I really like. There was a relationship. Neil Maskell, he plays this guy named Backlack, and he was Arthur's number one guy from a little age, and kind of went with him through his trials. And Backlack, he also had a child named Blue. And I love that father-son relationship that they had, and I really felt towards that little group of people. I really like the cast in here, too. It looks like they cherry-picked a lot from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. The girl that played the mage, though, I thought was kind of rough. Her line delivery was, I don't know who told her that was the way to deliver lines.
Yeah.
It was off-putting at times.
I agree. There in the beginning, it was like, oh well, she's a mage, so of course they're going to be all wispy.
Yeah.
But then there was times where you were like, well, just speak your dialogue like
can
normal
we just
now.
say it, please?
Yeah. Step it up a notch, couple beats faster, whatever.
The music in this movie, I thought, was pretty. It was ballsy to go with a lot of these musical choices. Some of them were beautiful. Some of them were very different from what you'd expect for a King Arthur movie.
And that's another calling card, I think, of Guy Ritchie, is he puts in super cool music. Yeah. Whether it works or not, that's up to you.
He goes for it.
Yeah, but he goes for it. And I personally like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I do.
I do too. My biggest issue with this movie is the same issue I had with Lost City of Z. I really don't think Charlie Hunnam has any screen presence on the big screen.
Yeah.
This could have been played by anyone. He really felt like he was being dominated by anyone he was on screen with. Even people who I don't know. Back, like you say, he had more presence than... And this character, it felt very much like his character of Jax Teller in Sons of Anarchy. He's the guy whose father was the leader, who was killed while he was a baby, and he has to grow up as the leader, trying to rise up past the man who killed his father. That's the same character. And he just had no presence.
And really his emotion was one note. And it was constant throughout the movie. The end is him actually accepting. This story is about him turning down a leadership role over and over and over again. You could throw out so many scenarios where you're just like, okay, well, nothing should be able to get him. Everybody's dying. They're threatening his life. They're threatening his people. And the entire time he's like, nope.
Nope,
I don't want to do it. Oh, I got trained. Yeah, I could wield a sword.
Here's the thing, too, is this movie was 2 hours and 14 minutes or whatever. I don't think it needed to be that long. There was a lot of the same flashbacks as he, like you referenced, constantly turns down the challenge, and we go to the same dream sequence over and over and over again. I think if we get this into a leaner movie, I think it's better.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I was going into this movie expecting it to be really bad because the trailers did not look good to me.
Yeah.
They focused a lot on the sequences where he has the sword in his hand and those dream-like, this looks awful. And I was pleasantly surprised, actually. It was more fun than I thought it would be.
There is so many flaws in this movie.
Yes, absolutely.
But overall, Guy Ritchie does make a fun movie. Yeah. But if this is really, if you like Guy Ritchie, go see it.
Yeah.
If you don't, you will hate this movie with a passion.
I agree. So, there's a ton of issues with this movie, but I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5, right down the middle. I was really going and expecting this movie to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
And so 2.5 is actually a pleasant surprise for me.
I gave it a 3. I did have fun. Yeah. I had fun watching this movie, and when I left, I was like, man, this movie is bad, but I really had a good time.
I just wonder how many more chances Charlie Hunnam's going to get to lose money because he's turning into the box office poison. This movie lost $1 bajillion.
Well, his character wasn't written well, and the last movie really wasn't that great.
He hasn't been doing
either.
a lot of money making for the studios. He's going to turn into like one of those Taylor Kitsch types.
They need to find his role, his perfect role.
But
he already had it.
He played Jax Teller in this movie.
Yeah.
He had 7 seasons to perfect that role, and he kind of flubbed it up here. But that's all right. The next movie, the final movie we have on the marquee this week, is a movie called Snatched from director Jonathan Levine, starring Amy Schumer and Goldie Hawn. Amy Schumer is a girl named Emily who gets dumped by her boyfriend, rock star, played by Randall Park. And she is a sad mess. And she goes home to her mom, Goldie Hawn. And Goldie Hawn, her character is she loves cats.
Yep.
That's her character. She has a lot of cat sweaters.
She is a stereotype of an older woman.
Absolutely. And Amy Schumer has bought a non-refundable ticket to Ecuador, and no one wants to go with her because she is a terrible person. She is so self-involved and lives solely for social media and trying to put on a persona. So she drags her mom, Goldie Hawn, to Ecuador with her to go on a trip. There she meets the world's most interesting man, basically, right? Guy who takes them into the Ecuador that is off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Where they are promptly kidnapped, they are snatched and held for ransom. Along the way, Amy Schumer accidentally kills some of the kidnappers' family, and so they're chasing after them as they're on the run. Meanwhile, her brother, played by Ike Barinholtz, he's back home. He's agoraphobic. He does not want to leave the house. He is living with Mama, and I need my Mama. And he's trying to get the authorities to try and help them, but the FBI does not want to. Along the way, they meet up with Wanda Sykes and Joan Cusack.
Which was interesting.
Joan Cusack is ex-special ops who cut her tongue out so she wouldn't give up any secrets.
Yeah. What happened if they ask her to write something down?
Oh, no. And they kind of try and help to save the day, but ultimately it is up to Amy Schumer and Goldie Hawn to get themselves out of this jam that they've got themselves into. Talk to me about Snatched, sir.
Tell you what, this movie is pretty much about exploiting a certain stereotypes. Amy Schumer has her same shtick every single time. It's the stereotypical blonde where they're easy and not that smart.
I'm gross and slutty and don't judge me.
Exactly. And if you like Amy Schumer, this is what you're going to get. If you don't like Amy Schumer, this is going to be a drag. Goldie Hawn is in it. I really didn't feel the chemistry in between.
No, there was zero chemistry between them.
And the son, I forget the name.
Barinholtz,
Ike Barinholtz. That whole storyline could have just left. I think that was a road bump every time in this movie. But there was some highlights to this movie. I really did feel like there was an adventure. They go to place. I love that guy that they found in the woods or in the. There was this bar in a seedy area in the jungle.
Played by Christopher Maloney from SVU.
Yeah, and once they meet him, they're like, oh, this is going to be the expert guide who's going to be able to get us through everything. And you find out he was just like a manager at like a Starbucks or something like that, and he had cancer and he was going to die any minute. And it's like, that part was funny. That you get a sense of adventure when you're going from place to place to place to place. And it didn't feel too forced until the end. And at the end, I think it kind of flubbed a little bit. Yeah. But I did laugh a couple of times. I went with my mom on Mother's Day, so I think that kind of helped with the enjoyment.
How'd your mom like this movie?
She loves Goldie Hawn.
Okay.
Of course, it's my mom.
Yeah. Moms love Goldie Hawn.
Moms love Goldie Hawn. And I love seeing Joan Cusack again, even though she had no dialogue.
Didn't have a tongue.
She didn't have a tongue. I like seeing Wanda Sykes. There were some things I liked about this, but I really hope Amy Schumer changes her act. And over and over and over again, she's proving that she is sticking with what she thinks is profitable.
It's the same joke over and over and over again. I tried watching her stand-up special that came out a few months ago on Netflix.
Yeah.
I couldn't finish it. This movie was just that stand-up special.
Nice.
It was those same jokes plugged into this movie. So yeah, it's tough. It's like, okay, I know that's a character that you want, but no range. We're not going to try range. Like you mentioned, I just didn't believe any of the chemistry between her and Goldie Hawn.
And I'm kind of surprised because I bet off screen they have a lot to talk about. Yeah, Goldie Hawn, she had the same kind of shtick in a way.
She was the ditzy blonde coming off a Laugh-In, and
Yeah, so I'm assuming they probably had some chemistry behind the scenes, just on the scene.
Because I think the writing was not that good. I didn't care about anyone in this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't care what happened to him. Shoot him, great, whatever. I wanted to join Randall Park when he left her and walked out of this movie. Like, take me with you, Randall Park. I don't want to be here. It was hard for me because I felt that the story went nowhere. I felt like it was like beginning to end. Where do we go?
Yeah.
Really nowhere. Like, they traveled around, kidnappers chased them, but not a whole lot really happened along the way. And for me, the big sin of this movie was I was incredibly bored. I'm rereading over my notes. I take notes while I'm watching the movie in the theater. And I didn't realize it, but multiple times I'd written in my notes, this movie is so boring. I am so bored. And like, wow, okay, yeah, I was as bored as I remembered.
Well,
I don't remember. There was a couple of laughs, but I think all the laughs I had were with the Wanda Sykes, Joan Cusack characters.
I had a morbid sense of humor when it comes to accidental killing. I don't know, but I laughed every time.
The problem is we saw one of them in the trailers 100 times.
True.
You knew that one was coming.
Yeah, I knew that one was coming.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I did not like the writing in this movie. I don't think I'm an Amy Schumer guy. I thought Trainwreck was okay.
Yeah, Trainwreck was, but that was her shtick, and that was the highlight of her shtick.
And now we're seeing it again.
And again.
Yeah, and there was a lot, I think there was a better cast around her in that one. You know, Bill Hader was great in that.
Yeah.
Even LeBron James was funny in that. So ultimately, what did you give Snatched?
I had a good time. I gave it a 3, but I'm not going to defend it. I understand why people don't like it.
This movie set a record for me. It knocked 50 Shades Darker off of my list of worst movie of the year. This movie gets my first 0 star of the year. I would rather watch 50 Shades Darker than watch Snatched again. This movie was...
Zeros are very hard for you.
Zeros are... I think I gave 2 last year. One was to Zoolander 2. That movie was awful.
Way to achieve something, Amy Schumer.
Yeah, I mean, if you make bad comedy, you're going to get scored on it. And judges' scores come up a 0 from me. So I do not recommend seeing Snatched. Mike says... See it, but don't hold me responsible.
I think it helps if you bring your mom if she loves Goldie Hawn. It really does.
Bring your mom. There's a lot of dirty jokes in this movie. Bring your mom.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right, sir. Let's take us into a throwback. I like to throw back to the year 1992.
I think that would be a good year.
Got any
one
movies?
of my favorite movies came out that year.
Ties into maybe maybe King Arthur's involved. Maybe somebody gets snatched. By King Arthur, even?
Could it be kind of like a comedy?
I'd take that.
What about Army of Darkness?
Oh, there's a wall in that movie, too.
Yeah, there is a wall
in
that movie. This is one of... I love Sam Raimi, but this is one of his best films. I was working in a movie theater when this came out and saw it 3 or 4 times. Fantastic movie. We have Ash. He's back from Evil Dead 2. In Evil Dead 2, he gets sucked into this portal and thrown into...
medieval times.
Medieval times, around 1300 AD. He's captured right away with Henry the Red's army and brought to Lord Arthur. Of course, Ash being Ash, he's able to bring out his boomstick and teach those
he got that from S-Smart.
S-Smart.
Shop Smart. S-Smart.
And pretty much the wise man of that town says this is the person that is prophesized. He's going to have to get the Necronomicon, say the words Klaatu, Barata, and Nektu, which is also something that we mentioned earlier this year when we saw...
The Earth Stood Still.
Yeah, Earth Stood Still. Yeah. And of course, Ash being Ash, kind of bumbling, he goes up there, Nektu... I said the words, right? Takes the book.
That does not work.
And the dead comes back to get the book, and they have to work together.
Stop motion dead come back to life.
And this is the most I've ever enjoyed stop motion. They could redo this again in stop motion, and I'd still be happy. This is a perfect mix of comedy, horror, and just slapstick fun.
This is... the Ash series.
Kind of second, in a way.
Well, you have Evil Dead, which was the low-budget horror movie.
And then they kind of...
Evil Dead 2, they kind of redid Evil Dead in a way.
It's a redo, yeah.
It's so funny how he did it. And then this one really goes for the comedy more than anything.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love this Bruce Campbell in this one. He is going full-on for the one-liners. Just going headlong into it. It's a ton of fun. It holds up so strong. Like you say, it's got some hokey, Harryhausen effects with the stop motion, and it works.
Yeah.
And it's...
You got some Three Stooges type stuff in there, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Ash is alternately funny and super cool.
And you want to quote him for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
this is what made... Bruce Campbell is Ash. Now, he's had a lot of other really cool characters in his career, but this is it.
I like his newest project that he's doing right
Where he plays Ash?
Yeah.
Ash versus the Evil Dead? Yep. Yeah, he's pretty good in that, too. He is the chin. Army of Darkness is great. We both highly recommend watching that. Watch Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Evil Dead, I have a hard time recommending. The original Evil Dead.
No, the original Evil Dead, it's camp. It's for just historical reasons only.
Yeah.
I watch it. I still watch it, but
I have a hard time being like, you should watch this because it's a hard watch.
No,
sometimes.
you watch it because you know that it's a bunch of friends that got together
Right.
and they had a lot of fun making a movie together.
Yeah.
And
The reboot, though, very
the
good.
reboot, though,
Like
yeah.
that one a lot.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Watch that one over and over and over again.
Yeah. A lot of blood. I think they used all the fake blood in Hollywood that year.
Yeah, and in order to avoid an X rating, they changed the colors of the blood.
Yeah, I don't understand how that works. Anyways, we say go watch Army of Darkness. Of course you're listening to us.
Yeah.
So do that. Let's take a look ahead at what is coming out the weekend of May 25th, 26th. May 25th, we have a movie based on a hit TV series. We have Baywatch coming out, starring The Rock and Zac Efron and many others.
The Rock makes fun films. He really does.
He does. The
I'm
Rock,
looking forward
and he
to
makes
it.
money.
Yes,
and I was
he does.
talking about this recently with a friend of mine. I hope that the sequel is Baywatch Nights, where they're out chasing ghosts. 'Cause I love Baywatch Nights.
I've never seen an episode.
Oh, it's the best. Hasselhoff out at night chasing ghosts.
Tell you what, never watched a full episode of Baywatch either. Sorry.
We're going to talk about this in a couple weeks. And then the next day, May 26th, we have a sequel from a long-running franchise, Pirates of the Caribbean. It's the 5th one, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Johnny Depp is back with all of his friends, Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley, and a host of other characters back. It's Jack Sparrow. We'll see. I started to kind of get tired of the Pirates movies as they went along.
Yeah, they're beautiful to look at, but after a while you do get tired of all the excitement.
That's a good way of putting it, sir. So before we leave you, of course, we want to thank our sponsor, Marcus Theaters. Thank you for sponsoring the show. We love Marcus. We love the Palace. And I love Dream Loungers.
Yeah.
So comfy. So if you are going to watch a movie, you can. The best choice is to go to the Palace here in Sun Prairie. Of course, if you want to find more from us, you can always find us on Facebook or on Twitter at Real Reviews TV is where you can find us there. We're always looking to chat with you. You can find a whole ton of past episodes from us. I don't know. There's 160 some episodes.
I bet there's 160. You usually got that
Yeah,
number right down.
I haven't looked at it in a while. It's 161 episodes, we'll say.
Yeah. It's now getting more than a weekend.
Yeah,
it's going to take you a while.
It's going to take you a little while. You can find all those past episodes on ksun.tv, or you can find our YouTube channel. We post all the new episodes on there as well. Just search Real Reviews, KSUN, KSUN. You can find all of our episodes on there in glorious high definition. Next week we got some fun movies. We have Alien Covenant, the new Alien movie.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I am as well. I just rewatched Prometheus the other night. Haven't watched that since it first came out. And I liked it better than I remembered it.
Good. I'm glad.
I was harsh on it when it first came out.
Yeah.
And it's better than I remembered.
I like Prometheus. I really do.
It has its problems.
Yeah.
But it's not as terrible as it's being remembered as.
We're feeling pretty generous lately, haven't we?
Well, I gave something a 0-star today, so I don't know. We'll see about that.
Usually you're foaming at the mouth, though, when you hate something.
I know. I don't have the passion today. We also have Everything next week. We'll be talking about Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and there's also Chuck, the Chuck Wepner story, the man who inspired Sylvester Stallone to write Rocky.
Really?
Yeah. Got all those movies. Those will be on our marquee next week. But until that time, my name is Jamison.
My name is Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.